Yep, that's the moon. And this is my garden. This is my garden at night. Is this cool? It is beautiful at night. I don't spend as much time outside due to mosquitoes and, well, I get tired at night after going through the garden. It's nice to just go in the house and unwind. I figured I might just walk through for a minute. We have a lot of solar lights. All the lights that are popping on now, pretty much. Okay, that one's not, but we have a lot of solar lights. I didn't realize Gary turned the lights on. There are my walking onions there. Boy, you know, you can see more brown at night than you can during the day, and I see a lot more that I have to clean up. It is gorgeous out here, I have to admit. Let me back up, and I'm hoping you'll be able to hear me, because I know when I back up, oh, I can't. My camera will not focus in if I back up, so I can't back up. So as you can see, this is what it looks like at night. There I've got baby walking onions coming up. Look at this. We have been over 100 degrees now for, I don't know, over a week. And we've got another few more days to go. But this is the time of the year that we're that hot. September is a hot month. It used to be August, and we used to get a good rain in August, I can remember, every year. I remember we would get rain. We didn't get rain. So I don't know. We still have some of the electric fountains on. We have 2 fountains that are electric. The rest are all solar. Isn't it beautiful at night? My phone camera won't allow me to pull back. It just goes dark. Look at that. It is beautiful at night. Got the solar lights. Those are the light bulbs. They used to sell them at the 99-cent store. 99 only. They kind of dropped the only, didn't they? Because now I think they're selling them for $2.50. I went back and they were $1.50. Then the next time I went back, they were $1.99. And then he tried to charge me $2.50, and I said, they're not $2.50. And he goes, well, the price is going up. I'll let you still have them for $1.99, I think it was. Isn't that beautiful? And then that's a peacock my daughter got. The center lights up. And then this one looks like a faucet. I think she got me that one for my birthday. One's for my birthday and one's for Mother's Day. They're so close I never remember which is which. See that? It's supposed to give the illusion of water. Let's see if we're supposed to fix this. The birds knock it around. See, that goes into the container. She told me to plant in it, but I'm not going to bother right now. Maybe a little succulent later. There we go. I still want to set this up right. This isn't set up the way I want it set up. I tied everything with string, and I'm going to have to get out here and hardwire it. It's got zip ties and string, and then I want to make some places where I can hang fountains and hang plants. So I think I've got it the way I want. I haven't had any hawks come in here at all since I zigzagged the top of this gazebo that Gary found in the trash with all these tree limbs. So it worked out really good, and then I've got some tree limbs going up that's holding the center ones in the front and the back. It's really, really good. And then I've got all my fountains. I'm going to have most of the fountains on the inside and most of the feeders on the inside, so it will protect them. Though I still have this one. I think I'm going to do most of them on the inside. And then look at this. This whole area, I had it cleared out a while ago, is just a jungle. It's a jungle of, well, that's lemon verbena up in the air. Isn't that beautiful against the moon? And so you got lemon verbena, and then you got all the dragonfruit cactus there. Remember, that's a tropical plant, actually. They have just been fruiting like mad and flowering like mad. And with the heat, it brought on more flowers even. So we've even going to have more. He picked his first fruit, I think, yesterday. And then I've got a lot of brassicas that are really struggling with the heat. I'm not worried. They'll come back as soon as the weather cools. And then here, more lemon verbena, more different brassicas growing. Then I've got my mint. Mint is really nice. We're going to have to do something on mint. We moved this. That's an old tote. That one's probably about 5. And these, I think, are at least 6. And they're fine. As long as I don't try to move them, they're probably going to be fine. I haven't done anything. I should refresh them. Maybe I'll do that in the winter. It's got garlic chives. This is my old cutting from a dinosaur kale that's years old, like I said, lemon verbena, walking onions, and that's the front yard, see. And then here is that squash I think I'm going to take out. But this is tree colored. It's getting oversized. It doesn't look that good. Really need to trim it down and put smaller ones in here. But it's just turned into such a jungle. See all the new flowers? These are new flowers. I don't know if you can see it. You probably, yep, you can see them right there. They're going to open up probably in a matter of a couple days. See a couple of flowers. Well, one of them went yellow, but then you got a big one right next to it. I don't know how many, I want to say dozens, but then one night he counted 30 something. So I don't know how many will make it, but I hope a lot of them do. We had an issue with bees. The bees were so desperate. They normally don't go into the dragon fruit, and when they do, it's a few. They were going in by the hundreds. He said they were just pouring in, and what it looked like they did is they went inside the dragon fruit flower and they removed all the pollen. And you would say that's a good thing. No, because is it the stamen? It comes up past the flower, and so the bees went into the flower, took everything out and left, instead of where he has to take a brush. I'll have to show you. He has to get the pollen from deep inside the flower, and then he's got to put it down the tube. See, the bees could not go down the tube. It was like a tiny, tiny, narrow straw. So they were taking everything, and some of them didn't get pollinated, and that's what Gary said it looks like it was, because they can't crawl in it, and you've got to get down inside. So I think in their native habitat, from what I understand, don't quote me, I believe it's bats, and they have a tongue, and they'll get down there and they'll take the pollen from the inside, but then they'll also put their tongue down the tube, and that's where they get it down there. And that's why Gary takes a small brush and gets inside and makes sure it gets down the tube. But that's the garden at night. I haven't done anything with my gazebo yet. Not yet. But that is the garden at night. It's beautiful. And I love the solar lights because they pop on as I walk by. And I always like solar lights. Solar lights are so fun. I'm going crazy with solar. I just love solar. Gorgeous out here. It's peaceful. So I thought I would take you for a little walk in the dark. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, to think that we've been so hot, and most of what you're seeing are inside totes. Not all. I mean, a lot of this is growing in the ground. I've got a lot of the brassicas in the ground. But even with the hot weather, they're making it. Here comes a plane. I don't know if you can see it. So they made it. They made it through the weather. Now, if they can get through and make it through the rest of the hot fall, then I'll have a lot of stuff in the winter. I still have those old, these are old crates. There was a pet store that redid their grooming. I've talked about this, these big white crates. They did their grooming room and they threw all these out. They were worth thousands of dollars, but they wanted to redo it. And I got a phone call. You better get down now. They're piling it all by their dumpster. They had a dumpster in like a section. So Gary ran down there and brought them all home, and there's just a ton of them. There were different sizes for small dogs and big dogs. Well, I'm not putting any dogs in crates. And then I had a friend, she told me, why don't you sell them? Some of them are worth over $1,000 a piece. And I said, then I have to sell them, and somebody's gonna put their dogs in crates, and you have to deal with everybody. No. So I told Gary, he said, what do you want to do with them? I said, just set them up here. So that was the first container gardening, not counting a few of the totes, that I really got into it. And boy, did I do this wrong. I really, really did. I wasn't gardening then. I was having nothing but problems with the clay. I wasn't composting in place. I loaded a lot of this stuff with native soil that I've had to go back and get out, which is clay, rocks, cement. I didn't know what to put in it, because to fill these, and there's quite a few of them, look how big they are. These are the small ones. See, that's a small one, but this one is like 3 or 4 times the size. It would cost a fortune. I started buying bags of soil, and it would have cost me hundreds of dollars just to do a few of them. So I can sit for a minute. So I started, there's the papayas in the dark. I just started loading everything in there. Now, had I known what I knew now, I would have loaded in tree limbs and everything else. But back then, we were new to it. So this is when, like I said, very, very new. But they're still growing, but a lot of them aren't growing that good. And I was debating if I'm going to actually empty them, or they do drain, just put buckets on top. The easiest thing would be to load up a lot of leaves now. That's what I'm starting. I have a lot of brassicas and tree colored. load that in there, and then just put big 5-gallon buckets on top with big holes, so it will feed the soil underneath. It could correct it. The earthworms and microbes and everything can get in there and correct it. So I'm not sure yet. I'm going to work on this in the winter. I think that will be the best time, and just go through them all and decide what I'm going to do. Here I'm going to set up some chairs. I'm going to move that feeder somewhere else, and I'm going to put some chairs here. I'm swinging. I shouldn't swing while I talk to you. So I thought I would take you out for a nighttime walk through the garden, even though I do have solar lights popping on, but it's nice. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, we're still in the city, so we have a lot of light pollution from the city, so we don't get a lot of stars. I see a few stars, but not much. So I hope you enjoyed this little walkabout in the garden at night. And with that, have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. This is our first dragon fruit of the year. It's a little bit small, but you know what? There's always someone who's small that wants the first piece of the season. Yep,